Hey there, welcome to saas.unbound podcast. I'm your host, I'm Nadeina, head of growth at saas.group, serial acquirer buying wonderful SaaS businesses to take them to the next level. And here I chat with inspiring founders and experts to get an inside scoop on how they make their business a success. So today with me is Mike Hill, and he's making a lot of businesses a success. So there is Juno, Curator, Fluke, Frill. I might be missing a few.
You're missing two, but one of them is about to launch in 2 months' time, but you got most of them. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. I think I've been following like one or another for some time. And it's always been interesting, like following you on Reddit because you're very transparent there. But, how did you get to do what you were doing in the first place?
Okay, so about 20 years ago, I was one of the world's worst developers. I was a Flash developer. It's my first job out of university. I did a degree in zoology, of all things, and somehow ended up being a developer. And ended up in a digital production agency. And at the end of a very long night with some friends who owned the agency called Holler, I just sort of blurted out, look, I've met a girl. I'm going to Australia. What do you think about Holler Australia? I'll go and set it up for you. And they were like, okay, let's do it. And before I knew it, I was coming out here and I set up a production agency, which turned into an ad agency, which I sold a number of years ago. And I realized over a number of years that I didn't really like advertising and I didn't really like where my career was going. I just loved building stuff. But I wasn't a very good developer, but I understood the development process. And so when I'd sold Holler, I had this idea that to build 10 micro startups. I thought, well, as an agency person, you can manage 10 clients and you can manage well over 10 projects. And that was stupid. I definitely can't do 10, but we've managed to do 5. We're about to launch our 5th next month on October the 10th. Whether it's October the 10th, I don't know. But so I just got back to building stuff, working with people that I'd worked with in a previous life. I just called up I've literally got a rock star list of all the people I've worked with in my life. And I call them up every now and again and say, hey, do you want to do something together? And sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes. And when they say yes, we go out to market, look for something interesting to do, and start building it. And yeah, that's how I got to where we are now. I think 7 years ago, we started our first SaaS business, myself and Tom. And I never really, I didn't really think, as it was growing, I didn't really think it could get as big as it was going to get, but it just kept growing. And paradoxically, the more it was growing, the less work we were doing on it, because we had built all the features, not all the features, I'm being a little bit facetious there, but the more we grew, the less features there were to build. And so we sat around and we were like, well, could we do this again? Take the same model that we did on Curator and apply it to something else. And so we did it, and then we did it again and again and again. And as I said, the idea was to create 10, but I can't keep 10 businesses in my head. It's not about it's about the mental space of being able to keep 10 businesses in your head. If you can't keep them all in your head, you might as well be an investor, not a founder. And so, so that's sort of how we ended up here. We've got 5 different businesses and all bootstrapped. Love bootstrapping. I don't think I know anything else. I'm a terrible employee, a nightmare employee. So
that's where it usually starts.
Yeah, bootstrapping kind of suits me a little bit better.
All right. Okay. So I mean, what do you know? Like, there are AI agents now, so maybe you can outsource the 5 more businesses to them. But we'll get there, because why this episode is happening is because I saw your comment on one of the LinkedIn posts about AI agents, and you were like,
"Which one?
Yeah, it was
I have no
it was
filter on
about,
LinkedIn, unfortunately.
it was about quote unquote everyone automating everything with AI agents and like firing their marketing departments and
Oh,
whatnot. And you were like, no, nobody's really doing it. Like, if you were doing it,
yeah.
well, you were in your bubble. And I was like, yes, okay, thank you. Honestly, like, I haven't figured the agents out. I feel like they are a mess. Every time I try to set something up, it ends up failing for like 100 times before anything starts working. And I was like, yes, that's the person I want to talk to.
Yeah, look, like the agents. I mean, God, I'm probably not the right person to talk about agents or even AI because I am. Let me preface this with I love AI. Right, I use it in my life for almost everything. What I don't like is people sort of saying things that it can do things that it can't do, and this hype is insane. And I think it's gonna. I think we're in a bubble right now. I'm not sure if it's a financial bubble, but it's definitely a hype bubble. I think we're starting to realize that AI is great at certain things, not other things. I can't see anybody. I keep seeing posts about how SaaS is dead, and whenever I ask for SaaS is dead, why would I pay somebody $50 a month when I can build it myself? So whenever I ask people, and I say, look, just give me one example. Is there one vibe coded app out there that's making money? I have found a few, but I have asked everywhere, and it's just crickets. Nobody comes back with answers. So, oh yeah, it's nearly there. Nearly's not even halfway, right? So don't even. This idea that SaaS is dead because of AI. I think SaaS is going to get better because of AI. I think that the day of the bootstrapper is now, because it's going to affect the big SaaS businesses that are $10,000 a month. That's a problem. I think if I was one of those businesses, I'd see AI as a threat. For the bootstrappers, like myself, like many other people in the bootstrapping community, it's just something that makes us better. We can adopt it faster from a coding point of view. It makes engineers better. The big corporations, the big startups who have transcended being startups and now corporations can't adopt AI. They've got processes in place. They just can't. They don't know how to use it properly. And also, we're playing in different markets. So yeah, no, I'm very vociferous about AI on my LinkedIn profile, but I do love it, and I'm addicted. I'm addicted to it, and I use it in everything. So take everything I say with a little bit of a pinch of salt. What I really do hate, is those posts where people say, I just fired my entire marketing department and replaced it with an agent. What a waste of lungs and blood that person is. Like, why would you go on LinkedIn boasting about that? That's not what I would like to do in my business. Use AI to actually grow the business, not cut costs. Anyone who's looking to cut costs is the wrong way of thinking. Sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, totally agree with you. I mean, first of all, firing your marketing department. I mean, it depends on what they were doing for you beforehand, right? So I use AI a lot. And at first it was like, oh my God, is it going to replace me? But they're like, no, I mean, I use it because it does make me faster, it does make me better, but it also makes AI that I'm using better at what I'm doing. So we're kind of
Yeah.
like in this loop, teaching each other and making each other better. And that's pretty amazing. On your rant about the hype, totally, absolutely. I just saw some statistics that in 2023, any startup that had AI anything would trade for something like 100x, 200x ARR. And last year it went down to 47, which is still insane.
That's still insane.
Yeah, but at least, it's going down. People understand that, okay, maybe
Maybe it's not going to deliver what everyone
No.
said it was going to. I mean, 100 times ARR. Come on, behave.
It's a bit much.
That's ridiculous.
True,
Yeah.
absolutely true.
I don't know what I'm hoping SaaS Group is not paying those. Well, if you are paying those multiples, I will build AI into every single one of my SaaS businesses, and we can talk.
Yes, no, we don't. Sorry, if you're listening and you're hoping for 100x, we're not the ones to go to.
Yeah.
But but yeah, okay. So there is something that you said on Reddit, right? Like I said, I've been crawling your Reddit posts for a while. You said you're not building anything new. You're going after something that's already there, usually where UX sucks, and
Yeah.
you're rebuilding it, and you think design sells. But still, there are a lot of very bad websites out there, so there are plenty to choose from. How
Yeah.
do you choose from those?
Okay, so it started. Okay, I'm going to tell you two stories. The one I've never told before. The second business that we picked was purely because we were looking for a business to build, and we were looking around all of. We knew we wanted it to be a SaaS business. We didn't really care, a B2B SaaS business. And we got a call from one of our clients on the first business and say, we want you to integrate with business A. So I was like, great, we're going to go and speak to business A. We'll try and integrate with them. Business A was so rude to us for no reason whatsoever. Absolutely no reason. And I just got really angry and I said to Tom, I hate these guys. Let's just build their business. And so that's what we've done. We're now competing against them. And it was purely out of spite. It had nothing to do with anything else. I just couldn't stand how they treated us. And now we built a better product than them. It's cheaper. That's not a strategy, though. That's not what we normally do, right?
And you're nicer to your customers?
No, yeah. So no, we what do we do? When we're looking for a business to build, we're not looking for any more to build, right? As I said, that I think that's it. We're done. We just looked around the market. Usually, with the first business that we built, we need a bunch of other SaaS businesses, right? And we needed a feedback tool. We needed an onboarding tool. We needed various other tools, an analytics tool. And when we went out to market, we're like, oh, geez, that one's really expensive. Like, why is that so expensive? It's just, data transfer. That one looks good on surface, but wow, the usability is awful. They've got a great website, awful product. And so a combination between bad UX and being overly priced. I think SaaS had this golden day, right, where you could just go out and charge $1,000 a month for not a lot. And bootstrappers are now coming in and saying, actually, that's not quite right. There's no costs there. You're making $999 off of that client. That could be a $49 a month SaaS business. And that's what we've done. I mean, I spent my entire career in advertising trying to come up with new ideas. It's built into my brain from the time I left university that everything's got to be a new idea. It's got to be a new idea. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be fresh. After I sold my ad business, I had to unwire my brain, because new ideas are for fools and geniuses, right? Especially in SaaS. If it's a new idea, it's probably a shit idea, let's be honest. I mean, I'm no genius, but I'm no fool. New ideas are too risky. I don't want to create new ideas. So we're just looking at existing ideas done badly, basically. And I think, it's a lot harder to do these days. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to pick where to go. But I think everyone had the same idea. Intercom blew up, and now there are a million different chat bubbles on websites. I mean, Intercom's become much more than that. So it's a lot harder to do these days. I think we got in at the right time. But yes, yeah. So that's kind of how we pick new ideas, or that's how we picked new ideas. So far, we haven't had a failure. Mm-hmm. It depends what you call a failure. A lot of people would say our businesses are failures because they're not unicorns, but that's not what we chase. And so, yeah, small micro SaaS businesses is where what we do.
Okay. And the way, I mean, if the solution already exists, obviously there are buyers. So how do you, and I mean, I do have a quote from you here. I'm actually looking at your post on Reddit where you talk about go to market.
Yep.
So I wonder if anything changed in your approach. So there you say, decide what is a good enough MVP,
Yep.
offer LTD, and go find LTD Facebook groups. Never give an account away for free, start charging early.
Yep.
Write content, launch an app sumo, ask for reviews, and always answer questions on Reddit and Quora. If
Yes.
you were to, well, you are launching.
Yes.
Is it Smile?
Smile. Yes, it's coming out next month, hopefully. Yes.
Right. So are you taking the same approach with Smile? Is there going to be a
Exactly the
lifetime
same
deal?
approach. Exactly
Okay.
the same approach. We haven't found a better way. We haven't found a better way when you've not got a lot of money. Right? There are better ways if you've got a lot of money, but for bootstrappers, our approach has always been build the best product you can, not an MVP, build the best product you can. MVPs, I still hear people quoting the lean startup and thinking it's some sort of gospel. It's not. It's irrelevant today. MVPs, you launch an MVP or what that book told you was an MVP today, people won't use it. The bar has changed. So you launch the best product you possibly can, which I suppose is the MVP, but the MVP bar has just changed. We always do an LTD, a lifetime deal, which some people swear blind is the wrong thing to do. I think with all of this advice, right, take everything I'm saying very, very lightly. It might not be right for anyone who's listening for their business. But we found it really, really good. Launch an LTD, a private LTD, as in go and speak to people in the Facebook groups. Launch a plan that rewards your early adopters. Try and raise, an amount of money. That could be 10 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is.
We're talking about raising while selling the
Sorry.
lifetime deals.
Sorry, when I say raise, I mean make money from the lifetime deals. Right? So it's just an alternative way to raise a seed capital, to raise seed capital without giving away equity in your business. Is it perfect? No. All these LTD deals are a debt on your ledger, right? They essentially need to be fulfilled. But at the same time, if you raised a seed fund, if you go through Y Combinator these days, you'd be lucky to get out of there with that owning 51% of your own business. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and I'd just rather go the way of funding it myself. I don't want to fund it myself. I'd rather fund it through payments. So that's the way we've done it, and it seems to work. And you're not just getting the money. This is the other thing. You're not just getting the money. You're getting users. You're getting people who use your product, give you feedback. The LTD community is amazing, right? It's very cutthroat, but they will be your greatest advocates. They see themselves as investors in your business. And if you treat them right, they will put you on a pedestal and they will get you, out of that sort of that initial velocity, that initial push that you need to get to MRR. So we always do that LTD. Sometimes we go on AppSumo. That the reach those guys have got is insane. They've always been good to us. And then once the LTD is done, we shut it down, and that's it, never to be done again. And then you hold your breath, and you wait for that first subscription. I heard it's also a very
demanding group, because
very
the founders that I talked to, whoever has done LTDs, they're like, okay, like 13 years later, people who bought the solution for $9, they're still there for you. And they're like, okay, why am I not getting access to this new feature? I got an LTD.
Yeah. So we just deal with it. That was the deal, right? That's the deal. You sold them a lifetime deal, and that's the deal. You can't then 10 years later go, sorry, I didn't mean that. And that is the downside of it. To be perfectly honest though, if you sell 100 LTDs, In 10 years' time, only one of them is going to be in use. The other 99 will be lost to dead email addresses, and people forgot they even bought it. I don't think it's a real problem. There is a slight problem with people reselling accounts. There is a bit of an issue with that. So they'll actually, buy an LTD, a license to Fluke or Frill or Juno or whatever it is. They'll buy a license for $59, and then they'll wait 5 years and they'll sell it for $500. And then you've got to onboard that new person, and there's no real way of telling if it's a new. Well, there is, but it's too much hard work to tell if it's a new person. So yeah, look, I hear that a lot as well, but a lot of founders have got to remember that they got you out of the trenches at that community right at the beginning, and they'll do more for you than just. They'll help you. They'll get feedback. They'll give you reviews on Trustpilot and any of the other review sites. So yeah, it's a give and take relationship. As we get older with each of the businesses, we get less and less support requests from LTD customers. So it's really not a problem. Having said that, I wouldn't start an AI business that I wouldn't start anything with massive cost of goods. Right.
That was my question. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. Absolutely not. They're going to cost you a lot of money for many years if that's the case. I heard about a video platform that was on a lifetime deal, and the lifetime deal was unlimited, and it's crucifying for the business. Absolutely crucifying. So I'd never do that. If the cost of goods for the business were too high, I would make sure that those cost of goods were taken out of the lifetime deal.
Okay, yeah, that makes great sense. So I want to talk to you obviously about growth and how you acquire customers, right? And you talk a lot about SEO, and we already mentioned that Answers and Reddit and Quora are also on your agenda, which is, I guess, was a great move because now it's all over ChatGPT, Perplexity, they all love it. So yeah, how did you start doing that? Are you writing it yourself? Do you have a team? Do you have a team for all the businesses, or is it separated? So how does the optimization work for you?
So I do pretty much all of that myself. All of the stuff on Reddit, anything on LinkedIn, I do all of that myself. Every business is structured differently. There's me and my partner Tom as the core co-founders, and then with any new business we go out and we partner with 2 other co-founders. And so any business has 4 co-founders. One of the things I absolutely stress to everybody is that this is your side hustle. This is not your main job. The aim is for that side hustle to pay you more than your job, but I still don't want you to quit your job. This idea that velocity and speed in startups is important, it can be, but it's not the most important thing. Staying alive is the most important thing. All of my businesses, we could take it right down to the wire, right? Minimum costs, and just stay alive. We'd never have to close it down. It's a war of attrition. The only thing that will stop us with this strategy is getting bored and giving up. It really is as simple as that. So in terms of team, sorry, that was the original question. We try and keep the team minimal. We hate hiring people. More people, more problems, basically. That's the fastest way to burn cash. We do keep the team super, super lean. These businesses they're not meant for exits. The exit is the cherry on top. The idea with the businesses is ludicrous salaries and then an exit at the end. So we invest in tech, we don't invest in marketing. The irony is that all of us used to work in ad agencies and we're all terrible at advertising. I don't know how that happened, but we invest in product. It means that it's slow growth, like it's very linear growth. But as long as, like I said earlier, as long as you stay alive, as long as you don't get bored, as long as you don't give up your day job, you can't be beat, right? You've got your competitors are running at $500 a month, and you're at $50 a month. You know, they are going to run out of steam a lot quicker than you will. That's the theory. Give me another 5 years, and you know, it's worked so far. Give me another 5 years and ask me the same question. It's working so far. It might not in 5 years. Who knows? All the stuff I said about AI could be totally wrong. In 5 years, I could be a dog walker because ChatGPT screwed me. Right? Oh, it was, yes. Yeah, exactly.
Might come in handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting, and I mean, I feel like SEO and being active on social media is marketing enough for a good product. And as a marketer, I truly believe that no amount of marketing is going to save a shitty product. So
not long term. Not
no,
long term.
So every product should be PLG product. It doesn't mean that there are no salespeople. It doesn't mean that there are no marketers. It just means that you value your product and you try to make the best out of it. And I think that's the best approach.
Yeah.
But to your point of not hiring, and also adding to it the fact that you said you're not adding too many features in it. I really loved how you said that at the beginning, and I wanted to ask you about it. Because honestly, just being in SaaS for a very short time, to be honest, but looking at like all the founders and all the companies that I've had here on the podcast, I feel like at some point it's just growth for the sake of growth. So let's add more features. Nobody is asking for it, but hey, we gotta show something, just justify the life of our company somehow, tell people that we're alive. And sometimes it's not necessary. And I feel like it's just complicating the product and confusing your customer. Just
you actually run the risk of making the core product that everyone bought worse.
Exactly. So how did you get to this idea?
Well, so every bootstrap SaaS business, unless you have a negative NRR, positive NRR, negative, I can never remember which one it is. Unless you're growing faster than you're churning all the time, you're going to reach a sunset point, right? You're going to reach a point where growth starts to slow down, and you've got to make a decision. Do we build more features? Do we make the product fatter? Or do we go, actually, do you know what? It's easier just to build a new adjacent product and start again and get that, $1 to $2 million ARR again. And so that you have, most SaaS businesses will not plummet, right? Once they get to a whatever their sunset period is, let's just call it $2 million ARR. They're not going to drop to $1 million ARR. They can stay around $2 million ARR because the input matches the output. And so you've got to make a decision. We could put in 100 extra hours a week to get it to $2.1 million ARR, or 2.2 or 2.5 or whatever, or put all of that effort into starting something new and getting it to $2 million ARR, or 5 million, or whatever the numbers are. And so that's when we decided, actually, look, people don't need more features. It does what it says on the tin with our first business. And there was nothing left to build. I mean, there are a few things, but they're not going to have the same effect that the first 50 features did. And so you can accept sunset mode. Most people start stressing out and going, oh my God, we're not growing fast enough. Fine. Build something else. If you're not growing and you're not just work out where to put your effort. That's what we did. I'm not sure I'd do that again because there are so many products for everything these days. And so even if there are, in the customer feedback SaaS, and all the customer feedback SaaS tools, there are 3 good ones. and the rest are crap. But customers don't know. They look at the 100 and they go, yeah, that one looks good. They're not going to spend loads and loads of time, not for $50 a month. If it was, enterprise, they'd spend a lot of time, analyzing things. And so we lose a lot of customers to crappy products. Not because it's a better product, just because they look at a feature list and I don't have time to review 10 products. And so they just go, I'll choose that one.
Yeah.
So it's harder today, I think, to do what we're doing, just because of the proliferation of micro SaaS businesses. You'd be hard pressed. When we were starting out, we were finding 10, 20 ideas a month that we could do. I haven't got excited about a new idea in the last year. I've thrown a bunch around. I've got people, interested. Let's start this. You know whether you're going to start it or not within a month. People just go, nothing happens. If nothing happens, you just kill it. But that's happening more and more these days. It's hard to find a business worth going after.
Yeah.
And, you look at one of the onboarding business that we're building, Fluke. It's a competitor to AppQues and Userflow and Pendo and Chameleon. One of the things we do is we wage a price war. And what that does is, one thing, it gets us new customers who can't afford AppQues. 2, it stops people like me entering the industry because they're like, it's not worth it. It's just too much work for $50 a month. And so it kind of protects you on both sides. Again, that's the theory. Let's speak again in 5 years' time, see whether that was that actually worked.
Yeah. It's just even like with the tools that I use, even like for the podcast or any kind of marketing tool, the moment I see they start changing like button colors and where the buttons are, I'm like, okay, you guys are done. Like you're too big for your own sake. Like, what are you doing?
They just run out of ideas. They've run out of ideas.
Right? And they've
run out of ideas.
I'm not as happy anymore.
Yeah. There are a couple of businesses that I've seen launch recently that are just not blown my mind, but I posted about them the other day, but the 2 in particular. One is Willow AI. I don't know if you used it. If you haven't, go and download it. All it is is it's a dictation app. So wherever you are, you press the function button, it starts listening, you speak, and it types. Sounds so simple, but their UX is so good. I can barely work out how to type anymore. It's embarrassing. So that's a great one. And Granola AI meeting notes. How good is it? So good, isn't it?
It is good.
I love sending the meeting notes to, like, when at the end you send the meeting notes to somebody and they can chat to the meeting notes. And the great thing about Granola as well is they don't save the audio. So the audios are never actually saved. It's transcribed and deleted. It's transcribed in right? And so I kind of like that from a security and I don't want loads of internal meeting notes, audio files floating around on the internet. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool.
One thing that I'm missing from every tool like Granola, and maybe I just don't know and it actually does it, but some of them have this super cool thing where at the end of a meeting they actually give you like a list of things to do that you were talking about during the meeting.
Yes.
And if there was an option to schedule that, so okay, the next thing you do is you schedule a call with this person, and if there was like a button, okay, schedule now.
Granola, if you're listening, there you go, feature request, get it done. Yes. That'd be so good, shouldn't it? The other thing is, I wish I could just very quickly when I'm firing it up say, hey, there are three and talk to it and just say, hey, there are 3 people in the meeting room, Anna, Mike, and somebody else, just work out who's who, and then start the meeting. And then it could tell me who said what. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. I'm always thinking of features for other people's products, and I just like, and I do write into them sometimes. It's like, please do this.
That's why you build your own, after all.
Yeah.
Like, no,
yeah, it is.
They're not
it is.
anymore.
yeah.
Okay, so what's you're building it like fairly fast. You're growing them slowly and sustainably, but you're building them pretty fast. Like, the ideas are there. So what happened with Smile? It's been there since 2021.
Yeah. Smile. The thing that happened to Smile was we just had the wrong team. We couldn't get the team gelling. And then, we went through, I think, 3 teams in the end, and it just didn't work. And that's probably, a massive failing to this model. And then we put it aside. We put it aside for a year because it was just like, look, this business is taking off. Let's focus on that. And finding the team is so tough. I have this rule. I never work with. Rules are lightly held, but I have this. I think it's a rule: never work with people you've never worked with before. It's a 10-year-old rule, and it's served me well so far. That's not because I don't know who the person I'm working with is. It's because I'm a nightmare. I'm an absolute nightmare. I change my mind all the time, and if you worked with me before and you decide to work with me again, brilliant. We know we're not going to have problems. I'm a developer's worst nightmare. When something's not right, I can't sit there and just go, yeah, let's launch it. I can't. It drives me mad. It keeps me awake at night. And so, picking the team, with Smile, it just didn't. We had a really good team 3 times, but for one or another reason, it just didn't work. We overestimated how much work it was, or someone got bored, somebody's life changed, and they just wanted to go off and do something. They had something personal happen, and they wanted to go off and do something else. But now we've actually got the team that we've worked on Frill, which is one of our successful businesses. They're now working on Smile as well.
Okay, so it's not like you're going to Tinder for founders and just
no
available.
No, that I keep seeing that as an idea. By the way, that's one of the worst ideas. I keep seeing people go, "Hey, what a great idea! Tinder for founders."
There were so many of them.
There were so many of them
years ago.
And none left. Exactly. Yeah. Terrible idea. It's probably the biggest, in my experience, the biggest reason why any project or business fails. Right? I love working with all of my co-founders. I love it. They're all friends outside of work. We all have a laugh. I never have work dread. Work dread where you're like, fuck it, it's Monday morning, what am I going to do? I don't want to do that. Never have that. I'm pestering them on the weekend, going, guys, what about this feature? Like, shut up, Mike, it's the weekend. Okay, let's chat on Monday. And so, you got to be comfortable with your team. If you're not comfortable with your team and you know it right early on, break up. Same as any relationship. You know right at the start, right? And it's hard, especially with our model, when you've got 4 people. Getting 4 people to work together and pull in the right direction is tough. And getting 4 people to work together knowing that they're not going to be paid for a year or 2 years is tough. But you get the right people who just love making shit, it works.
So what's the perfect team? Developer, marketer?
No.
Can I call you a marketer? I'm not.
I know. I am. What am I? I still think of myself as a product person. Mm-hmm. So time, my brain energy is all spent on thinking about features. And so I think everybody in the company needs to be a product person. Everybody. We don't have any marketing people per se. We outsource marketing because we're all shit at it. When I say marketing, I predominantly mean writing, SEO. We don't do any outbound marketing. We've tried it a number of times, failed miserably. Paid media is a waste of money for small businesses, in my opinion. Probably, maybe because I'm doing it badly. I mean, we spend a little bit of money as a sort of offering to the Google gods, make sure they don't turn off our SEO. But
That's where your SEO works.
yeah, I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? We pay them a few grand every month, and I don't even optimize it. It just, thank you, master, and that's it. So, but the ideal team, what's the ideal team? Design and development. Design and development. Heavy on tech, right? We try and separate back end and front end tech. And I always like to have a designer, for want of a better term, on the team. I strongly believe good design sells. And all these people saying, "Oh, I'm skipping Figma now because I just develop it straight in, VO or Cursor or Bolt or Lovable." Yeah, it shows. Have you seen your product? It looks like crap. It looks like every other product out there. Design is a craft, and I really believe that we argue over every pixel, probably to the fault of the product, but I think it shows in the work, and I love it. And I don't want to work on a crappy looking product. I just don't want to do it, So part selfishly as well, I want stuff to look good and work well. I take pride in that.
I launched a tiny little thing, and like the product itself is being developed by a developer, so like proper
Yes.
stuff. But the landing page is done by me on Lovable, and now I'm not gonna show it to you because I think it's crap.
I probably will. Sorry, I'll be honest. But don't. This holds me back, right? This is the other thing. A lot of it's just something I'm passionate about. It's not something that is necessarily right. I know a lot of successful businesses with crappy websites who have just managed to describe what their product does and the problem it solves really well. It's just important. It's just important to me. It's just important to me, right? You don't go out walking around town in a clown outfit, right? You like to wear nice clothes. You like to, I talk about myself in a jumper.
My next viral post on LinkedIn will be called "Mike Hell called my website crap."
Yeah.
Even before seeing.
I would never do that. I'd be more constructive about that. But yeah, and so I'm very passionate. I love, even if we don't have a designer on the team, we spend a lot of money on design.
Okay.
And it makes me fall in love with the product. That's the other thing. When something looks good and works well, the whole team fall in love with it. And I mean, look at Apple. Oh God, I can't believe I just said that. Never take any learnings from Apple, because you're not Apple. But I hate it when I see posts on LinkedIn about, this is what I learned from Steve Jobs. Don't stop, Steve. You're not Steve Jobs. He was a 1 in a billion. But anyway, my point is that good design sells, right? And that's not just design. That's just not the pixels. That's the animation. That's like when you click on a button. What does it feel like? Does it animate? Does it feel squishy? Does it feel quick? Does it feel hard? All of those kind of things in design are super important. You look at Instagram, there were 100 other businesses out there doing what they did. There was Hipstamatic. I don't know if you remember Hipstamatic, but their design was so much better, and they really believed in the craft of their product and how people interacted with it. And anyway, I truly believe, and that then falls into onboarding, right? And
they died because of the name, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. Mind you, Instagram, that's a terrible name, isn't it? Instagram, that's awful.
But it kind of rules
It
hipstamatic
does
hipster.
now. It does now, but not. It didn't back then. Instagram, Insta photo. Anyway, sorry,
Haters.
I'm ranting
Um,
now.
all right, just a couple more questions.
Yes,
The usuals that they ask every founder here. So, 5 businesses, 20 years of SaaS. What has been the biggest win and the biggest failure?
I haven't had my biggest win yet. That's coming. That really is coming. One of our businesses is like skyrocketing. I say skyrocketing. Our NPS is 85 for a SaaS business. That's insane.
Okay.
20% of people when they sign up for a free trial upgrade, but nobody knows about us. If I could work out how to be
We
a good
do.
marketer, if I could work out how to be a good marketer, that business, I think that's going to be my biggest win. Or maybe Smile. Interestingly, the one we're going to launch, actually, but it's too early to tell. Smile has one of the things I didn't realize was so important is total addressable market. Right? If you pick something with a massive total addressable market, you can fuck up and pick up 1%. Right? And you can still succeed as a bootstrapper. The bigger the addressable market, the more chance you have of succeeding. And Smile, I walk down the street and I go, oh, you could be a customer, you could be a customer, you could be a customer. Anybody in a job could be a customer of Smile. So I've got high hopes for that one too. It's the biggest win. I'd say, do you know what my biggest win is? Being able to walk my kids to school whenever I want, being able to go spearfishing and fishing any day I want, having SaaS businesses that support my lifestyle rather than have the business run my life. That's the biggest. I couldn't be happier where I am right now. It's so good. Biggest failure, I got two, I got, they're not SaaS businesses. One was meant to be a SaaS business. I started a business called Puffling, which was a business that was aimed to solve the gender diversity at a senior level in businesses. And what we did was it was a dating app essentially that targeted back to work mums who only wanted 2 or 3 days. And so what we did is we put two, it didn't have to be mums, but that was our bullseye target market. Somebody wanted 3 days, somebody wanted 2 days, and we'd put them together and there'd be a full-time equivalent. And we'd sell them into a business as a full-time equivalent. Or they wanted 3 days and 3 days. It was a job-sharing dating app. So the idea was that if you paired off two people together, they worked better as a unit. 1 and 1 equaled 3. A lot of job sharing fails because the business forces the two people together. And so it solved two kind of problems. It solved a back to work for mums problem, but it solved a gender diversity issue for the business, at the same time creating a better product than a full-time equivalent. Awful idea. It was so stressful. In our validation, when we were validating the product, we'd go out to businesses and say, hey, would you like to trial this? Nobody's going to say no to a gender diversity initiative. They all said yes. And it was fake validation.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, it was just nonsense. And then whenever the candidates loved it, and they were pairing off, and they were, coming together and pairing off. And then when we were trying to place them, we were like, sorry, Mike. Yeah, I don't think the business is ready for a job sharing pair. And we're like, why did you say yes? And they just said yes because it cost them nothing. And it was, really frustrating. And it was a new idea. Don't come up with new ideas. So that felt
That's where
pretty
that
hard.
learning came from.
Yeah, that was one of the first things. That was my greatest failure. There have been a lot of others that I can't talk about on this podcast. But
All right. So off the record. I'll delete it.
yeah. But yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. I mean, greatest win is just where we are now, right? How many people can say that they can take a day off whenever they want to, go fishing and spearfishing whenever they want to, walk the kids to work? I don't have to be in at 9. I don't have to, I make good money from the businesses and I work with my mates. So good. And I don't have to manage loads of people as well. I used to hate managing people. I had a company of 100 people. I am the worst manager in the world. Nightmare. I'm a bad employee and a bad manager. I don't know how I ended up
That
there.
actually
Anyway.
sounds a lot like what my job is. So it's just, it humbles me. I'm like, okay, it's very good.
Great.
Very good situation. I don't go
Great.
fishing, but I did go to the pool just before this podcast.
Great. Exactly. Do you know what? Actually, I think the world has changed a lot as well since COVID, and I think more people have access to that type of lifestyle. And I think that's only going to make the world better, right? And so, I see kids these days. When I say kids, I mean 20-year-olds. The greatest thing they ever did was go, work's not my life. I got given this advice from the guy, somebody who bought my company, and he said, Mike, as the CEO, you've got to be the first in and the last out. That's the worst advice I've ever, and I lived by that for 10 years. That is awful advice. Awful advice. And the greatest thing kids do these days is they go, life first, work second. And that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. We learned something from Gen Z.
Yes.
But yeah, all right. So the last question is always about hack. So anything
Yes.
that works for you or used to work for you and other founders would appreciate.
The only thing that's ever worked for us is, two things, but one mainly, writing content. Write content from the day you start the business, not from the day you have the product. It's not a hack. Everyone knows about it. Everyone puts it off. Just start writing content. Do backlinking if you can possibly do it. Pay someone to do it if you possibly can. It's evergreen, right? Don't spend money on ads. God, the Google system is the most dishonest ad system I've ever come across in my entire life. I'd say something like, I want the exact phrase, and they actually use the word exact phrase, I want a painter. But then they'll go out and buy ads for paint, the color red. That's not the exact phrase. They're designed to waste your money. So don't spend money on ads. Spend money on content. It'll pay you back for the next 10, 20 years. And get onto Reddit. Get onto Reddit and just listen to people moan. Listen to people whinge about stuff. Listen to people who are upset about your competitors. And interject. Say, hey, look, how about you try this? And full disclosure, I'm a co-founder. It's been really, really good for us. And Reddit has been great in terms of influencing AI, the LLMs as well. So the more data you have on Reddit, the more you're going to influence the LLMs. Content, and just get out there and just speak to people. It won't scale, but it will keep your team fired up. Whenever that Stripe bell rings, it's bloody brilliant, especially in the early days. You've succeeded when you turn off the Stripe bell. You're like, oh, that's annoying. That's starting to annoy me. But in the early days, when you've got a business that's just starting up, those first subscriptions are worth 100 of a business that you've been running for 10 years.
That's a good one. And yeah, like you said, everybody knows about it. Everybody puts it off. But yeah, I can absolutely second the Reddit thing. We just started doing it more and more for every brand. We automate it every time somebody mentions our brand or something that we do. We're like, okay, we're there. And
you've probably listening out, because we've got competitor brands, right? So saas.group owns Juicer, and we've got Curator. So we're like frenemies.
We're listening to yes.
So you're probably listening out for Curator, aren't you? I know. That's fine.
I didn't say anything. But yeah, Yes, we do. But yeah, it's super cool talking to you here today.
It's
Honestly,
been
a
fun.
great story. Yeah, great fun. Thanks for being very transparent about the experience. And yeah, looking forward to seeing your big win.
Yeah, it's coming. I know it is.
Yeah, no, no, we'll be there.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you
Thank you so
very
much,
much,
Mark. It's
Anna.
been great. Yeah, thanks for your time. Take care.